SEC. They picked up a crucial quad one win against Texas this week. Auburn's done a great job staying away from the trap game. They beat LSU this week, coming in hot against Ole Miss here this afternoon. You are just in time for the tip. #1 Auburn against top 25 Ole Miss in a jam-packed arena in Oxford, Mississippi. Dave O'Brien and Corey Alexander, great to have you.
Great to be here, my friend. Of course, a big-time matchup and one that the Ole Miss Rebels are looking for some retribution against the Auburn Tigers, who have continued to beat up on them during Bruce Pearl's tenure.
Malik Deal letting fly the first shot of the afternoon, but off target. The rebound hauled in by Janai Broom, who gets 11 a game. And listen to the students in full throat right away in the opening seconds. They couldn't wait to get in here.
Yeah, they camped out all night to make sure they got their seats to be able to cheer on their team here, looking for a win over another team from the state of Alabama. They got one at the University of Alabama a few weeks ago.
Yeah, winning on the road, backdoor cut, and tapped away to Dre Davis, the 6'6" senior. Ole Miss with the ball coming in 16-4. And that's rare. Both of these teams are exceptionally good at avoiding turnovers, only about 10 a game apiece.
Only separated by 0.1 turnovers per game, as we get an opportunity to see Auburn starting five. So much experience in their starting five around Janai Broom, especially Dylan Carwell, who's in his 5th season at Auburn.
An all-senior or graduate starting five for Auburn, led by Broom, the 6'10" grad. Kicks into the corner for Baker Mazzara. He'll knock that one down from three-point land.
Obi, this is a team in Auburn that averages 17 assists per game. However, they only average 8 a game when they did not have Janai Broom in the lineup. And you see Janai Broom, outside of a double team, dropping the dime all the way across court to a wide open shooter.
It's really loud in here, and it's going to be loud all afternoon. When you have the #1 team in the country, I'm interested to see how physical this game gets. Both head coaches said that's life in the SEC. It can get as rough and tumble as anywhere.
But how about we had to remind Bruce Pearl earlier that his team was #1 in the country. He's talking as though they're not, and we just said, hey, coach, you do know you're #1 right now, right? And you've pretty much been there all season long.
Kelly with the foul to put Davis at the line. Comes in averaging 10 points and 5 rebounds a game. Rebels really hang their hat on tough defense. They hold opponents to about 67 points. They can be very tough to get a good shot against. They have to be exceptional today.
Yes, and they can't afford to turn the basketball over. Bruce Pearl said he felt like they probably would have a couple extra turnovers because of the way Ole Miss likes to defend. They switch so much defensively, but they've got to be able to take advantage of those mismatches when they get them.
Well, getting February underway, and the Tigers have won 12 consecutive games. They beat an athletic LSU team on Wednesday night in Baton Rouge, 87-74. Talk about downtown and swishing that one home. Miles Kelly just about at the logo.
And 2 for 2 from beyond the three-point arc for the Auburn Tigers, who haven't necessarily shot the best in these 1 p.m. tips for them on Saturday afternoon.
Got to look out for Auburn getting off to a hot start. They can bury you. The pull-up pop, nicely done as Diaz sticks it. He can be a huge factor on the glass, too. He had a 19-rebound game against Alabama.
And had 23 points to go along with those 19 rebounds, so he can absolutely be effective. Chris Beard told us he just needs him to be consistent. That's the primary goal.
Janai Broom with the touch, averaging 18 points, 11 rebounds a game. He has been amazing on the offensive glass. Kelly gets the pass off. In heavy traffic, Jones has it taken away. Here's Padula on the attack, lays it off the window and in. And the building explodes as Ole Miss cuts it to 1.
And that's what Bruce Pearl does not want to see, those pick-6 turnovers, as Padula comes up with another steal.
It's kicked and it'll go the other way off of Padula, but he's everywhere all of a sudden.
Miles Kelly from way downtown knocks down the 3 ball, and then Malik Dia close to 7 feet off the bounce with the ability to score in the mid-range, and Sean Padula able to finish over the top in transition. Padula gets another steal on the next possession, averages over 2 steals per game. And Already 3 steals for the Rebels so far this afternoon.
Yeah, they forced 16 a contest. Can they do that against an Auburn team that doesn't kick it over much at all?
There's 4. The 4th turnover for the Auburn Tigers. So when they've gotten shots, they made good on them, already knocking down 2 threes. However, 4 turnovers in comparison to the 2 field goals made.
Remember, Ole Miss, a team that managed to win at Alabama. His Brakefield got it. A 3-pointer. Jamin Brakefield sticks it, the 4th-year man at Ole Miss.
Both teams already gone to their substitution. Now it's a 7-0 run in favor of the Rebels as Jamin Brakefield comes off the bench and knocks down a big 3.
Todd Pettiford in the game, and another turnover. That's 5. Burrell in transition had it knocked away, and they'll keep it on this end for the Ole Miss Rebels. But their defense is at a 10 right now.
And OB, Bruce Pearl told us he expected them to turn over a little more, but not 5 times in the first 3.5 minutes of this game. He was not expecting to see it at this level. But one of the dangerous parts about Ole Miss, they don't shoot the basketball extremely well, but when you give them opportunities in transition, they absolutely make you pay for them and turning those points off of turnovers into wins.
Davis out, Barnes in. Both of these teams loaded with veterans. You have a very talented freshman in Pettiford for the Tigers. On the inbounds, Diaz swoops inside for 2.
Diaz has been extremely aggressive to start this game. We saw him shoot the 3-ball earlier, knock down the mid-range, and then great patience in the painted area to be able to finish over the top for 2.
So it's a 9-0 run for Ole Miss. Baker Mazzara on the dribble. Steps back and fires. Got it.
Once again, when they've gotten shots, they've been able to take advantage of them. All of the Auburn field goals have been 3-point field goals. Baker Mazzara has 2 of them to his credit.
Dia at 6'9", handling the ball like that. Brakefield, who just hit a 3, on the spin move to the lane. Just can't finish it. Rebound batted around. It is going to be off the Tigers. And we've got a timeout at 15:42, and a hot pace right out of the gate on a big day, coast to coast in college basketball. More on that when we return.
Win. And if you're going to do so, one thing you absolutely have to have is communication. And a breakdown in communication for the #1 team in the country, the Auburn Tigers. As you see, the switch here doesn't actually happen. Janai Broome is supposed to go over and take there. Todd Pettiford is supposed to get out to the shooter. But what you also see, as they get the basketball in bounds, both players looking over immediately at Bruce Pearl, blaming the other guy, talking about it was not my responsibility. I'm sure it was something that was discussed in the timeout.
So a little confusion for Auburn. That is one of the reasons they've turned it over 5 times. Padula will jack up a triple and knock it down.
Sean Padula's played in big games, OB. He won a regular season championship with Virginia Tech, and this is a young man who is used to playing on the big stage here, trying to get a win over #1 at home.
He's scored over 1,500 points in his career. Big pickup for Coach Beard at Ole Miss. Shot clock inside 10, little leaner here, and Broome tried to clean it up, gets it back and draws the foul. And pulling at his shoulder, at his left shoulder, in some pain.
And remember, he injured that shoulder earlier in the year, caused him to miss a game. As Bruce Pearl was talking to us about Janai Broome and that shoulder, and how a lot of guys in his position, we're talking about possibly the best player in the country, may have shut it down and didn't want to risk himself and his numbers. But he continues to come out and play, but favoring that left shoulder, of course, a lefty, and is very valuable to the #1 team in the land.
Jalen Murray, the Ole Miss point guard, picks up his first foul to put Broome at the line. It feels like a 2-man race for National Player of the Year between Janai Broome and Duke's Cooper Flagg at this point. They're both playing today.
They're both playing today, but OB, that shot looked different And he gave the thumbs up to Bruce Pearl as though he's okay, but that basketball did not get above the rim. It barely grazed the front of the rim, and you're talking about a guy who's a very good shooter.
Well, the 2 games back from the ankle sprain, he's averaging 21 and 14. Here's a closer look as they come after him. This is going to get physical.
Yeah, but you see immediately reacting to that left shoulder on the swipe down as he's going to get some attention on the sideline. So very concerning for the Auburn Tigers, knowing that Janai Broome has already missed time because of the shoulder.
Right. And leads Auburn in scoring, rebounding, blocks, number 2 in assists, and now Ole Miss will turn it over in transition. Pettiford can really push it. Baker Mazzara way off target. And the fans will let him have it here in Oxford. Padula gets himself open for a long one, but short. Hits 40% from three-point land, and it goes back over to the Tigers. Janai Broome will look at the timeline.
Janai Broome, the first 15 games of the season, 18 points, 10 rebounds. Of course, the Maui Invitational Most Valuable Player. Only loss of the season for the Auburn Tigers at Duke, when they were finally able to slow down Janai Broome, but since returning from injury, 26 points, 16 rebounds, and Wednesday's road win at LSU.
And 11 of those offensive rebounds. Bruce Pearl is joking. I think he misses on purpose to get those offensive rebounding numbers even higher. A whistle here with 14:28 to go in the first half, but he's sitting right now. Coming up later on ESPN, our Sonic blockbuster matchups. Cooper Flagg and number 2 Duke hosting North Carolina at Cameron Indoor at 6:30. And then John Calipari returning to Rupp Arena, leading Arkansas against number 12 Kentucky.
Obi, did you happen to catch Rick Pitino's message to Big Blue Nation asking them to take it easy on John Calipari?
I did.
How many of the Big Blue Nation do you think are actually going to heed Coach Pitino's message?
I'm holding a 0 right now. Ole Miss on top by 3, and raining threes. The Auburn Tigers, another one by Pettiford, didn't touch anything, so they missed badly on 1 or 2. Morrell picks up the dribble. Trey Davis into the paint. On the spin, will fire. And a rebound comes to Cardwell, 6'11" grad, who gets about 5 a game for Coach Pearl. Auburn's all-time winningest coach. Pettiford looking to drive. Jones, the point guard, looking for room to operate. Nicely done.
Very nicely done for Jones, and the veteran getting into the painted area. And these are 2 veteran-laden teams. Obi, Ole Miss has 7 guys who've scored over 1,000 points on their roster. Now, I haven't checked, but that's got to be the most nationally. I can't imagine any other team having that many guys who have scored over 1,000.
I don't think I've seen that in like 25 years of calling college basketball. That many guys on one roster.
And when you look at the 5th-year seniors alone for the Auburn roster, you've got 2 guys who have been at Auburn their entire careers, in Dylan Cardwell and Chris Moore. But how about Bruce Pearl with the transfer portal and the guys he's brought in, how well they fit into his system?
Chris Moore with a foul to put Morrell at the line. Broome continues to sit after the shoulder got clubbed. 6'10" grad from Plant City, Florida. The All-American, 72 career double-doubles for Janai Broome. How much longer will he be on the bench? So it's Auburn ball, down by 2. You win on the road in the SEC, man, you have earned it. Another turnover. That'll be 6 and counting. Nice kick for the corner, but that won't drop as Morrell missed it. Pettiford, so talented and so young, which is unusual in this game between these 2 rosters. Johnson turning, nice touch. That's Chaney Johnson with a bucket.
And Chaney Johnson was scoring in double figures for the majority of the season, dipped right under that. But you can see he's an offensive force coming off the bench for Bruce Pearl, and they will exploit that mismatch once again.
Mikal Brown-Jones trying to get inside that lane. Working on Cardwell to his right. No whistle. Crowd wanted one badly, but no whistle. Bedford to set it up now. Auburn has done a great job under Bruce Pearl avoiding the trap game throughout their schedule. They have just the one loss, of course, that came at Duke. Here's Jones. Got it.
And when you've got a quartet of guards shooting the basketball as well as Pettiford, Jones, Baker Mazar, and Miles Kelly do as a group, they shoot over 40% from three. So that's part of the reason why they're able to avoid that trap game, because they've got such talent on this Auburn roster.
Johnson trying to swat that basketball. He picks up the foul for Auburn. And the Tigers 17-14. Interesting way that Coach Chris Beard of Ole Miss looks at breaking down the game in intervals. We'll talk about that in just a moment here in Oxford.
For the Rebels, which is why they had the lead in that second segment, +4 rebounding margin, and even on the turnovers, is why Auburn was able to take over and build a three-point lead after the second stanza. So we'll continue to keep up track with how this battle, it's almost like a boxing match, OB,
yes.
And we got two physical teams, so we can absolutely reference that.
Auburn now on an 11-4 run. Ole Miss with the ball. Barnes holding it out top. And here's Brakefield, a 6'8" senior. Shot clock a factor, down to 6 now. Does Murray see it on the dribble? He does. He launches, and it won't drop. Rebound back to the Tigers.
That was a great box out by Jones, and the recognition.
Oh, went for it there. Johnson up high and off the rim. Barnes finds himself open. He can't stick it. And a rebound to Pettiford. There's a very dangerous three-point man for the Tigers at 41%. Ole Miss has missed 6 in a row. They've gone cold all of a sudden. Inside Cardwell going for the dunk and can't get it done. Dia came over to defend.
And a lot of people wouldn't even try to attempt to block that, OB, because they're fearful of getting dunked on, but not Dia as he gets the block shot, but it turns into a turnover on the other end of the floor. But one of the things that Bruce Pearl talks about is the basics. Look at this box out by Denver Jones, a smaller player, but keeping Jamin Brakefield off the glass. And again, he talked to you about it earlier today. You got to get into their legs. He was talking about smaller guys.
Yeah,
and I don't know why he picked on you,
I don't
OB.
know why he did that. Yeah. He didn't even look at you. Right at me and go, you little guys, you like to get in there and dig, don't you? That's the way you're supposed to do it. Like, he was looking right at me.
And he absolutely loved that effort by Denver Jones, getting in there, making sure Jamin Brakefield did not get an offensive rebound. But it's the details which has made this team so great this year.
You know, Auburn has beaten 7 teams who are top 25 when they play them. Jones is a big reason why. He does so many things well. Maybe not one thing that blows you off the page, but so many things that help them win games.
Agreed. And his backcourt mate right now, Tahad Pettiford, coming off the bench, the McDonald's All-American freshman, averages 16 points a game against ranked teams. And, of course, Ole Miss, 23 in the rankings. We can look forward to a big one here, possibly from Tahad Pettiford as well.
Well, Jones with a great dive, getting underneath there and getting it free to Broom. And he laid it in. And so Ole Miss back on the attack. Here's Dia.
It'll be great to see Broom back on the floor after the shoulder injury. And you see Tahad pushing it, but that's the second opportunity at the rim that the Tigers were unable to take advantage of. And so when you consider a game that could very well come down to the wire, those are points I'm sure Bruce Pearl would wish his team had taken advantage of.
Chris Moore, his second foul. And Baker Mazzara back on for Bruce Pearl. A deep team. 12 in a row for the Tigers.
Yeah, they lost at Duke between right now, which you would probably consider the best 2 teams in the country. But on a neutral floor, I may have to give the advantage to Auburn. And Malik Brown played a huge part in that game for the Blue Devils, who's currently sidelined with injury.
Padula and Davis colliding, and the ball came free. And another Ole Miss turnover. So Auburn has opened up a 5-point lead here on the road. 5 turnovers for the Rebels. Jones taking a baseline, swatted, and a whistle and a foul. And they will get Klafke for the personal, the freshman from Brazil. Actually going to be Dre Davis who's going to get the foul. We've got Notre Dame Louisville coming up on Sunday at noon in women's college basketball, the #3 team in the country.
I tell you what, OB, there are some entertaining backcourts in college basketball. We already talked about the quartet that Auburn has. Of course, Ole Miss with Sean Padula, they've got a great one. But no one, Hannah Hidalgo and Olivia Miles from Notre Dame, must-see TV. Be tuned in Sunday for that one. They are as good as it gets.
You're right. Any given day, Hannah Hidalgo can take over the entire thing and do it with so much electricity and passion.
And the craziest part is she may not be the best passer on her team. Her teammate may be an even better passer, but I love watching them share the basketball.
Jones at the line. Excellent foul shooter at 92%. Looking to add to the Auburn advantage here with 9:43 to go in the first half. And good luck finding a flaw in the Auburn Tigers. They make almost 50%, 37% from three. Way downtown. We've been sharing that back and forth today.
Yeah, but the second time we've seen Janai Broome and Tahad Pettifor both looking at each other, trying to figure out whose defensive responsibility it was after an easy basket was given up to the Rebels.
Broome on the entry, draws the double. Rebound has been a big deal here for Ole Miss. The rebounding disadvantage they have had this season. Down to 2 to get off a shot. Pettiford airborne and banks it in.
And went to the opposite hand, went to his right hand, even though he's a left-handed basketball player, to go off the glass, get the bank. You know, Saturday afternoon. I don't think the banks are still open at this point, but Tahad's still using the glass.
Used it very effectively. 23-16. Dia on the feed, underneath for 2. And a whistle as well as Brakefield got hit.
I tell you what, Dia is skilled. We've seen him with the mid-range pull-up. We see him with the dunk. But that pass through traffic was elite. Look at that. With the left hand to be able to drop it off to Jamin Brakefield for the easy bucket, the hoop to harm opportunity for the and one for Brakefield. But Malik Dia really showing some skill here this afternoon.
Shaney Johnson with the foul. Brakefield, his 4th year, is one of those 7 1,000-point men on the roster for Ole Miss, and had a strong one against Texas on Wednesday with 16.
OB, I asked Jamin Brakefield pregame, I said, have you ever beaten a #1 team? And he looked at me with a smile. He said, yeah, Virginia. No, I have to go back and fact check it, but he remembered a layup that he made when he was at Duke versus Virginia over Jay Huff, who's starring now with the Memphis Grizzlies. So I'm gonna trust Jamin Brakefield remembering that.
Broome in close, can't convert. In transition, Padula. Padula, the senior transfer from Virginia Tech, vying for SEC honors now. Dia thought about it. He will loft it up there. Left that one way short. Didn't touch anything. Back over to Auburn it goes.
But Dia trying to shoot over Janai Broome. If he was going to take that shot, maybe he should have taken the first one, because, of course, Janai Broome extending out that left arm is always going to be difficult, as he gets a little conversation from Chris Beard on the sideline, coaching him up about that shot alone.
Broome's shoulder appears to have recovered. He's attempted a couple of shots since he returned after a fairly long sit. Certainly for him long. Kelly trying to get on the hip of Padula. It's kicked around. And it'll stay on this end with 7:50 to go in the first half.
OB, it seems as though you and I have been here all morning, all afternoon. We're going to talk about Miss Sherry Evans when we come back. She was filling us in on all things going here at Ole Miss. Said to Miss Sherry to get the eye roll that she gave me. And I said, Miss Sherry, why did you roll your eyes at me? Obi, she told me it wasn't me. They do it on their own. Right. So, I mean, so her eyes are trained to roll whenever she hears something that she might consider to be nonsense.
Broome turns on the baseline and banks it in. He thought he had a foul as well, but no whistle there. The other thing about Miss Sherry is she came to the shoot-around to work it. I mean, to scout it.
Yeah.
And there are people who come to her and go, okay, how'd they look today?
Yes. Miss Sherry provides all types of information.
Nice scoop here by Brakefield, a 6'8" senior. Auburn is one of the teams that would have loved to have had him on board.
And Miss Sherry was wondering what was happening on the last defensive possession by Ole Miss when they tried to double team Janai Broome, but they trapped the right shoulder, which allowed him to be able to get to the left hand where he's so dominant.
Kelly got a good open look. That won't drop. And Ole Miss comes away with a rebound. Burrell to bring it up, the 6'4" senior out of Memphis, his 5th year here in Oxford. He'll back it out.
It was interesting to hear Bruce Pearl talk about Morrell, because for the last 2-3 years, he and Jamie Brakefield have been the best players for Ole Miss. But with the guys that they've brought in, they've kind of gone down the depth chart a little bit. But that's part of the reason why this team is so good.
That was some sweet work by David Barnes, also a senior, the transfer from Sam Houston, another of those 1,000-point guys. He's got some game.
He absolutely has some game. 10 seniors on this Ole Miss team. So you're talking about veterans coming together for a common goal, trying to knock off #1 here at home.
Moore out of the corner, got an excellent look. Broome taps it to himself. Another offensive rebound. He hits the deck, and they do call the foul against Ole Miss. Some handiwork on this replay.
Absolutely is. You talk about Barnes going to work. Able to get to the turnaround, the jumper over Chris Moore, able to score it. And make this a one-possession game once again.
Mikhail Brown-Jones with the foul. 6:15 to go first half in Oxford. Turtle Hudson getting some minutes in the first half for Auburn. And that'll be knocked down on a nice move by Miles Kelly, who came in averaging 11.
Yeah, Miles Kelly gives them a scoring punch on the perimeter. His three-point shooting is elite. However, is added to his game, of course, when he was at Georgia Tech as their primary scorer. He's gone down as far as his number on the scouting report, but still been very effective in contributing to winning.
Murray downstairs for Dia. And it'll be a Broome foul as he reached in.
And Janai Broome got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, as Dia has continued to be effective throughout this game, showing off his versatility, going off the bounce, the mid-range pull-up jump shot, and then getting into the perimeter, being able to finish with the opposite hand, right-handed, getting out in transition for the easy dunk. But what I love most is his playmaking ability, where he made the left-hand backdoor pass to Jamin Brakefield for the layup, showing off all of his versatility throughout this game.
Janai Broome not happy. He was trailing one of the officials, Pat Adams, there, pleading his case,
and I will say this, Pat Adams and this officiating crew, Courtney Green, Patrick Evans, they've been very lenient thus far with Janai Broome. He's had a lot of conversation with the officials, and again, as a top player in the country, you have a little more leeway to have those conversations, but especially on the road, Janai Broome's going to have to calm that down, because the last thing you want to do is show up an official here in front of someone else's crowd, because they'll be urging these officials to give you the tech.
Well, these kids were sleeping out in tents last night. They were wrapped around the building this morning, having breakfast, waiting to get in for a 1 o'clock tip. Knocked away by Dia. He has been the man for Ole Miss, and here he goes again, but he misses the slam. He's pleading for a foul as he makes his way to the other end.
Yeah, but he's running back on defense as he's pleading for the foul. Didn't allow that to make him stop playing. Gets back and allows Ole Miss to get back defensively.
4-point game. Jones drives, scoops, no. And it'll stay right here on this end with 5:08 to go. Auburn will resume possession.
Nice handles in transition by Murray. Drops it off. And although Dia is unable to finish, he doesn't hang around complaining. He gets back defensively, allows his team to be able to establish the wall, not allowing Auburn to get an easy bucket.
Over the top for Moore. Tried to get it downstairs, knocked right back to Auburn at midcourt. They got to get a shot up, 3 to get it. Kelly gave it up. Johnson, long one. Airmailed that. Didn't touch anything. Burrell to push it. Laid up and off that backboard by Brakefield, but he'll draw the foul. And he'll be headed to the line.
Obi, one thing that's a prerequisite for both Bruce Pearl and Chris Beard, you have to play hard. And one thing for certain, Malik Dia, even though he did not get the call, and where he absolutely got contact on this, look at the contact on the arm, but he doesn't stop and complain. He sprints back defensively and ends up being the guy guarding the ball handler, switching off onto Jones, doing the job, not allowing Auburn to get an easy bucket.
Foul number 2 on Miles Kelly. 6'6" senior for Auburn, sending Brakefield to the line where he makes 74%. Senior from Jackson, Mississippi.
AKA the SIP. One of my old teammates, Antonio McDice from Mississippi, always referred to as the SIP, so that's where I got it from. Big restaurant here called the SIP, is that correct?
It might be a place where you and I have a reservation with our producer Kim Belt tonight. I'm just saying.
Okay.
If they want to set the table right now for us.
When it comes to travel, I'm following you wherever we go, my man.
I like the sound of that. 27-24. Pettiford running the show. He'll heave it up there and way short. And that one goes out.
A second air ball from Pettiford. We talked about how he's shown up in big games throughout this year for Auburn. Hasn't really been able to get going in this one thus far.
Baker Mazzara and Turtle Hudson back on for Coach Pearl. And again, their only loss of the season came in December at Duke, 84-78. That was right after they won the Maui Invitational. And you called a bunch of that.
Yeah, a lot of travels. A lot of travel for Auburn.
Brakefield, very tough shot in traffic. Couldn't get it to go. Cardwell downstairs to the paint. Out for Jones off the fake. He's open. Sticks it from three-point land.
And that's one of the things that really you wouldn't recognize, but Auburn shot extremely well from beyond the three-point arc, already now making 5 threes here in this first half.
Denver Jones has been the top guy offensively with 10 for #1 Auburn today. Working that baseline again. Oh, what a tough move by Brakefield, and one. He's off to the line.
And he's not talking to a player, so he's not taunting. He's talking to his crowd. He's talking to the student body behind the basket as he shows off his summer work. The gun show as Jamin Brakefield attacked the basket, strong enough to finish through the contact. And just a little conversation for the home team.
To see third-ranked Iowa State, #10 Purdue, #20 Missouri, #6 Houston before Ole Miss today.
And then, of course, they've got 2 matchups with Alabama and everyone else in the SEC. 10 ranked teams in the SEC. If you have a 500 or better record in SEC play, you're ranked in the top 25 nationally. Amazing what the SEC has done this season.
Brakefield with a miss. It would have been a three-point play. Breaking down the resumes. Now, Chris Beard at Ole Miss felt his team was 2 wins away from an NCAA tournament bid last year. They fell short. They won 20. Boy, a win today. And hold that thought. 30-26 Auburn. Denver Jones on the dribble. Trying to step away. Shot clock down to 3. Cardwell. Another air ball, but up and in by Broom. And he had Padula sitting right on top of him.
But that's the thing that makes Janai Broom so great. You don't have to throw him the basketball for him to be successful. He'll go get buckets the hard way.
Brakefield couldn't get off a shot. Padula deep in the corner. Yes. And a 3.
And Denver Jones has about a 3 to 4 inch height difference over Sean Padula, but not affecting Sean Padula at all as he knocks down the corner 3.
A very noisy pavilion here at Oxford. This is a terrific arena for college basketball. About 10,000, just a little less than that. And the noise stays inside in a very good way if you're the home team. Baker Mazzara got hit in the face. The scoop won't drop. And he'll knock it out of play, and Ole Miss will keep it.
Dylan Cardwell unable to get the 3 to go, but how about Janai Broom recognizing the shot clock going down, doesn't land with the basketball, and still the soft touch to be able to finish it. But what I love most about it, nothing about the contact. Didn't say a word to the officials. He got the message in the timeout with his coaching staff. Great coaching staff, of course, from the Auburn Tigers to leave the officials alone.
This ball for a moment scooped up by Murray. Trying to make a move around Jones. Talk about a spin. Won't drop though.
Great.
So, yeah, he did everything.
Yeah, great job defensively by Jones, though, making it difficult for Murray trying to get to the rim.
Broom will launch it up there and swish it in to triple.
Obi, I was all ready to say, Janai Broom at 6'11", you can't settle on the perimeter when you got a 6'1" guy guarding you. However, he's so good, it doesn't matter. Broom is able to square up Abdullah, knocks down the three right over the top. Can leave to come help, but Janai Broom still skilled enough to be able to face up a much smaller guy, about a 10-inch height advantage for Broom, and still knock down the three over the top.
So he's at 10 and 6, pretty much right there with his averages. Auburn has had 4 different players hit at least 1 3.
And that's really where they've been so good. 6 of 13 from beyond the arc here in this first half. And we know how important the three is to Ole Miss and their success, but Auburn's showing their prowess from beyond the arc.
Burrell got it. Big answer there with his own three. Jones loses the dribble and asking for a timeout. He takes one. With 1:33 remaining in the half and 16 on the shot clock. Ole Miss can flat play defense. 35-32 Auburn. Gators chomped in Knoxville. And Cooper Flagg's first Tar Heels tilt. That's coming up our Jeep halftime report.
Obi, our vantage point here at SJB Pavilion, we're right beside the Auburn bench, and there's been a lot going on over here on the sideline. Bruce Pearl, of course, one of the best communicators with his team, as the lob goes astray between Janai Broom and Dylan Cardwell. And one of the things I love about Bruce Pearl, he allows his players to be vocal with him. He's not the type of guy that's a tyrant. You can't talk back to me, whatever. They have the discussions, and then they move on and go out still trying to go about their common goal.
I think he really looks for that kind of player, because that's the way Bruce is. Brakefield in tight, finishes that up with his left hand. And this is a one-point game.
How about the first half for Jamin Brakefield? And this is a young man we talked about. He's a 1,000-point scorer, climbing the charts here at Ole Miss, but he accepts his role of coming off the bench and providing a spark.
Pettiford went for the backboard, no. Tussle for the rebound, the kick out. Jones is open, got it. His three on target, he has 13.
But the offensive rebound by Dylan Cardwell was concerning for Chris Beard coming into this game, trying to take care of their defensive board once they got stops.
Tough drive. That won't drop. And here come the Auburn Tigers, the #1 team in the country. You knew they were going to have a battle on their hands today against top 25 Ole Miss here in Oxford, and they have gotten it. 1 second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Broom to make a move again. Another three on the way, and he got it. In the final seconds of the half, he hit 2 big threes in the final moments.
And, of course, has the wherewithal to turn right around into all of the fans here rooting for the Rebels and just let them know, call me. You know how to find me. I'm the guy out here putting on a show as Janai Broom, going to his right, the step back, knocks down the 3 ball and immediately lets everyone know where to find him.
He scored their last 6 in the last 42 seconds. Jeep halftime report coming your way with Reese, Seth, and Jay.
Where Auburn was able to start taking over, but you look at the last 2, -3 rebounding in both those 4-minute segments and +1 in the turnover margin, which has allowed the Auburn Tigers to build a 7-point lead.
Well, neither one of these teams turns the ball over at all. They average less than 10 per game, but Auburn has 8 of them, but not many in like the last 10 minutes of the half.
Yeah, they had 5 of them in the first 3.5 minutes of the game, so you consider they really only turned it over 3 times for the remainder of the half, and they were able to settle in offensively.
Baker Mazara right away off the back of the iron. Broom goes up high, He is just amazing when it comes to the offensive glass, and he will draw the foul.
Obi, Sean Padula wants an over-the-back call on that. But you can't call that when you've got a 6'10" guy with a 6'1" guy. You have to give the taller guy that opportunity to just be able to go get the basketball at his highest point.
Padula at 6'1", not going to win that argument very often. Out of the double, down to Cardwell with the hook. So 41-34 Auburn. They have a 12-game winning streak on the line here. Ole Miss at 16-4. Ole Miss has been out-rebounded for this season. That's a huge strength of the Tigers coming in. First jump shot for Ole Miss in the second half will be off target by Davis, but they'll get a second effort.
Offensive rebound by Dia, who's continued to be impressive throughout this game. Looking to get the basketball in his hands. He feels as though he has an advantage, especially on the perimeter against Cardwell and Broom.
Jalen Murray going to get a shot in the air. Shot clock is down to 1. Padula can't hit it. And here comes Denver Jones with 13 in the first half. Came in averaging 10. Tends to play his best basketball against the best opponents.
That was the question mark for this team with Bruce Pearl coming in. How good would his guards be? Because all of the guards are new. You've got the freshman in Tahai Pettiford, but then when you consider Denver Jones as well as Miles Kelly both transferring in. So Bruce Pearl didn't have a lot of experience with these guards, but they have absolutely shown up and been productive members of the #1 team in the country.
Auburn's top 4 guards, Kelly, Jones, Baker Mazar, and Pettiford, all shooting at least 38% from 3.
And as a group combined over 40%. So a great luxury to have when you've got the best player in America inside causing double teams.
Broom going for the block, but Davis up and in. Just getting started in the second half. And the enthusiasm for this game in Oxford off the charts to see the #1 team in America up against Ole Miss as they look to pick them off here this afternoon. The SEC is just such a meat grinder.
It absolutely is. There are no breaks in the SEC. Again, you've got 10 ranked teams, but then of course when you think about the teams that aren't ranked, many of them have been in the rankings. You're talking Oklahoma, you're talking Georgia. They've been ranked throughout this season, and they fell out of the rankings once they had to get into SEC play because they're going up against strong competition each and every night.
Morrell with his first foul. And that'll put Chad Baker Mazar to the line, the #2 scorer for the Tigers. He's also one of 4 Auburn players with more than 50 assists on a really balanced team.
I thought that was the most amazing stat that I've seen from this team, is that the way they share the basketball, they average over 17 assists per game. But that's what happens when you've got 4 guys over 50 assists. And even more telling sign, not one player in their rotation has a negative assist to turnover ratio.
You know, the senior from the Dominican Republic rarely misses at the line. He's 91%. Their best foul shooter.
Yeah, had an Auburn record 51 straight made free throws, and it was Denver Jones who actually started the season off with a long streak. So they've got a number of great free throw shooters, which absolutely helps when you come down the stretch.
Sure does. Brakefield had a really entertaining first half, trying to dish it downstairs. It pops free. And here come the Tigers. Broom commanding the ball.
With mismatch, he's got Sean Padula trying to defend him on the block.
Over the top and the stuff by Cardwell. The 6'11" grad going high up there to jam that down.
And Obi, I can only smile anytime I watch this young man play. I coached Dylan Cardwell his junior year of high school. He came to Oak Hill over 300 pounds. And this young man went to work all on his own, dropped about 40 pounds, got his body in shape. And so watching him fly above the rim, didn't see that from Dylan early.
Yeah.
But we've seen it a lot in a Tigers uniform.
It's hard to believe watching him. He weighed 300 pounds. Padula with a terrific basket on the other end. Here's Kelly for Broom. taking advantage of Padula going in strong. He gets knocked to the deck, no whistle. And he has to take a seat, and an official will stop the play.
Denver Jones attacking the basket, just throws it up. Dylan Cardwell able to go well above the basket. Dylan Cardwell played on a team, OB, at Oak Hill with Cole Anthony, with Cam Thomas, with Kofi Coburn. I mean, you're talking about elite talent.
How do you lose a game?
We lost too many.
Gotta blame the coaches.
We didn't have the same chemistry at Oak Hill that Bruce Pearl has with Auburn right now. Part of the reason why we struggle. But I can tell you, proud of this young man as they're looking and to see if it's a flagrant foul on Dylan Cardwell, who stopped the play, reaching from behind.
I'm going to go ahead and review this play. You guys can go to the media. Okay.
All right, we'll take a break and see what they come up with. 16:27 to go here in Oxford. The officials went to the monitor, and they have slapped Dylan Cardwell with a flagrant one. Take a look.
And the flagrant one comes here, the reach, because you have the wind up and because the left hand comes out and grabs the jersey. That is why it's a flagrant foul. Now, Obi, I'll be the first to tell you, I have friends and know a lot of officials. They don't want to call this a flagrant foul, but they don't have a choice. They're being graded. The letter of the law says it is a flagrant, so they have to do that because each and every one of these officials are being graded. But I can tell you from experience and talking to them, they do not want to call that a flagrant foul.
So David Barnes, 6'4" senior out of Memphis, will shoot for Ole Miss. Trying to cut into the Auburn advantage here in the opening minutes of the second half. And another one on the way for Barnes, the transfer from Sam Houston, who has scored over 1,000 points in his career. He was All-Conference USA last year. And makes the pair.
We mentioned in the first half, one of 7 players on the Ole Miss roster to have scored over 1,000 points in their career. Obi, we really have to do some research. We got to go to SIG and find out, has anyone else ever had that? 7 players that have over 1,000 points.
Yeah, never heard of that before. Padula's one of them. Here comes a long one. And this is a one-point game. The kick into the corner, and a big-time answer out of Miles Kelly.
What a response. You're talking about 2 guys who were all ACC performers a year ago, now putting on a show in the SEC. Sean Padula coming from Virginia Tech, Miles Kelly coming from Georgia Tech. Dueling threes on the last 2 possessions.
Dueling seniors, too. Plenty of those on the court today, and poked away. Kelly with the theft. He wants to go in strong. Left it short, but a whistle. A foul on the play. 15:25 to go in the second half.
Sean Padula taking matters into his own hands. The step back, the beautiful cross to create separation, knocks down to 3. But then the ball movement. We talked about the Tigers, 17 assists per game. Sharing it, the extra pass to the corner allows Miles Kelly to knock down to 3.
Davis of Ole Miss just picked up his 3rd foul. And Kelly makes number 1 tonight. SEC Network, Wade Taylor will lead number 13 Texas A&M against South Carolina, 8:30 Eastern Time and 7:30 Central Time.
Game in South Carolina right now. The Gamecocks 0-8 in SEC play. Obi, let me tell you how good they are. This is a team that beat Clemson. Clemson's 9-1 in the ACC. And they went to South Carolina and lost in the non-conference. But that just shows you how dominant the SEC has been and how tough it is to get a win in this league.
Murray with the quick dish downstairs. Oh, a difficult angle by Dia. He couldn't finish it. He had a great first half.
One he's going to want back right there. Opportunities like that against this team don't come off.
Man, Pettiford lines up for 3, makes 41%. It seems like every guard for Auburn has a dagger.
And they do it at the time when the team needs it the most, OB. Jahad Pettiford struggled in the first half. Only 2 points from him unable to get going offensively, but as soon as he checks in the second half.
Oh, Padula foul while shooting a long one. Fouled in the act. The 6'1" senior headed to the line.
Tahad Pettiford, he knew he was shooting that as soon as he gets his hands on the basketball, OB. There was no question about it. Tahad Pettiford had struggled in the first half. He knew he was going to change his fortunes here in the second half as soon as he comes in off of Bruce Pearl's bench.
Chaney Johnson, his third foul. They went to the monitor and double-checked if it was a 3, and it was. And so Padula, very good foul shooter, up around 80% at the stripe.
Sean Padula, one of 9 children. Father Dominic, mom Bernadette. They didn't make it to the game today. I talked to him, and he said that his brother was going to be here. As I'm having to have a chance to have a conversation with my guy BP, Bruce Pearl, standing right here beside me. He looked, when I talked about it, he said, "Really?"
Padula missing on that one, and Bruce Pearl going back to his bench, and Turtle Hudson getting some more minutes, with Johnson headed to the Auburn bench in some foul trouble. Padula over 1,500 career points, and a misfire there at the line. And a loose ball and a tie up here. Both teams have gone 9 deep in this one. No shock. They're both deep.
And they have other talent that's not getting minutes because it's hard to play more than 9. But when you consider the fact that both these teams are as good as they have been, and the prerequisite to play hard, that's rule number 1 for both these coaches. And that's how they're able to play so many in a rotation and keep everybody happy, because you absolutely get tired playing at this pace.
And off the ball, a whistle and a foul with 14:38 to go. And a personal foul against Auburn's Miles Kelly, and that's his 3rd. And Bruce Pearl will bring his point guard Denver Jones back on, and Kelly to the bench.
See, off of the twist, Miles Kelly gets a hold of the arm there.
Padula reversing course there, gets the pass into the corner, the step back, and it's in and out by Barnes. Got a good look.
Got a great look. The difference between in this game is the fact that Auburn has made those shots where Ole Miss hasn't been able to get them to go down.
Baker Mazzara going in strong and draws the foul. Broom already his 13th double-double of the season, 73rd of his career. 52-44, Auburn. And not a shooting foul over the top for Broom. Broom trying to back down, twisting. The kick out for Hudson. Too strong. One tip, Padula, very quick to react, got there first. The lane opens up. He scoops it up and in.
Obi, remember Chris Beard told us that his guards were going to have to get in there and help their team rebound. Sean Padula able to get the board, but more importantly, able to take it 94 feet for the layup.
He has 16. Broom on the high post. Pettiford went for a cut. Broom wants to shoot it. Too strong. Ole Miss getting some big-time momentum here. Brakefield in the corner. Here's Padula.
Padula feeling it right now, Obi. I think he wants everybody out of the way so he can go to work.
Tiptoeing in and lays it in. What a strong move all the way to the 10.
Absolutely. Sean Padula has got it going, and we've seen him get in modes like this before. And when he's got it going like this, everybody, let's go 1-4 flat. Let me dance.
Pettiford gives up the dribble. Broom out of the double. Downstairs, Hudson with the stuff.
Lack of rotation on the double team, and a small double team with Padula and Murray, the 2 point guards in there, trying to take away Janai Broom. He can see right over the top.
Well, the student section has been screaming their lungs out. Thought they might be exhausted after waiting all night in the tents outside, and then this morning, forget about that. Down to Padula, and the follow is up and in. 2 more for Dre Davis.
And a great pass by Jamin Brakefield. Even though Padula can't get it going, the shot blocker goes away, allowing Davis to get the easy layup.
Big time fight for the #1 team in the country on the road in the SEC. Broom leans in, but no. Davis in transition, looking for a shooter. Here's Murray, no. Dia going up strong and will draw the foul. Malik Dia gets hit.
And it's a small thing, and you can't blame Malik Dia at all. But when he got that offensive rebound, Sean Padula was behind him, wide open for 3.
This place is bouncing. You want to know what Ole Miss is all about? Roundabout, squirrels, chicken on a stick, and basketball.
I'm sure Lane Kiffin would have a little bit of a difference of opinion in that. However, it is basketball season as we see 9,974 fans in the building today. 3rd largest in program history. And they are witnessing great restraint by the officiating crew here as Janai Broome has a lot of conversation. Courtney Green shows tremendous restraint and not giving the technical foul. We talked about this in the first half, OB. You got to watch your decorum with the officials, especially on the road, because you understand that this crowd does not want to see them be this lenient with Broome.
Pat Adams, Courtney Green, and Patrick Evans have done terrific work so far today. Almost 12 minutes to go. And Dia at the line, 64%. He has 8 points. They got Baker Mazzara before the break for his first foul.
You know,
he makes them both.
Great coaching. Bruce Pearl and his staff recognizing that also, which is the reason why Janai Broome is taking a rest right now. You don't want to send him back out there with the officiating group looking at him to call anything he does wrong.
And a shove as Chris Moore goes down on his back.
Keeping track of the intervals. Look at what happened here. Now the turnover margin was even in the last 4 minutes, but Ole Miss with the +3 advantage in their second standard, +4 overall in this second half. And Chris Beard told us earlier, rebounding is the key to this game. If they're going to win, they're going to have to be able to compete with the Tigers on the glass.
Usually a very big advantage for Auburn. Ole Miss has been out-rebounded all season long. Davis just picked up foul number 4, pull-up pop, and won't drop by Kelly, but the rebound up and in by Cardwell.
And Dia had that in his hands, just unable to corral it. Dylan Cardwell in the right place at the right time, able to get the second chance points.
Sean Paduli's been a hot hand with 18, leads all scorers.
The pass.
Oh, the dish, and a layup and in by Matthew Morrell.
But that's what happens, OB, when a guy gets it going, all 10 defensive eyes are watching that guy. Great cut by Morrell and a nice find from Padula.
Jones on the drive and a whistle with 11:09 to go.
Sean Padula dancing once again, but Matt Morrell does not stand around and wait. The cut to the basket as Padula drops the dime, allow him to be able to finish it off. Both these teams distribute the basketball very well, but Ole Miss with 26 points in the paint, a 10-point advantage over the Tigers.
Ole Miss's Jalen Murray with a personal. The point guard Jones working on Murray. Now the switch as Morrell comes over and a shot off target. Padula high up for the rebound. He's already blown by his average of 15 a game. Coming up on 10 minutes to go here in Oxford. Brakefield looking for someone to make a move. Popped up by Cardwell. A battle for that, and it comes back to Dylan Cardwell. Jones cutting downstairs. The pass got to him very late.
Yeah, missed opportunity in transition, but the active hands of Dylan Cardwell coming up with another turnover.
Kelly airborne, draws the foul. Padula trying to stay with him and got him.
Sean Padula has had himself an afternoon, getting out in transition high off the glass to avoid the shot blocker, and then going into his dance bag. The step back, knocking down the three, the cross to get to the rim, stepping around defenders in the painted area, scoring over top of Giants. Sean Padula having himself a great time here in front of the home crowd.
Second foul, non-shooting foul. Chaney Johnson looking for room to operate. Out for Kelly. Kelly with a step back. He hits it.
And it's been Miles Kelly. It seems to be every time that the Tigers need a response, Miles Kelly is the guy they call on. That's the second huge three he's hit to stop an Ole Miss run.
Broom is a great player, having a great year, but their guards are so tough.
They really are, and they help this team so much, especially down the stretch.
Padula with a misfire, hasn't missed many. Tigers leading at 59-54. On the drive, Jones swatted away. And it will be Auburn ball with 9.5 minutes on the clock.
Miles Kelly going to his left, the step back, knocking down the three ball, looking at Sean Padula saying, anything you can do, I can do better. These two guys having themselves a nice battle here.
13 points, came in averaging 11. And at 43%, he is Auburn's best three-point man.
And doesn't get nearly as many shots as he got a season ago at Georgia Tech, but fits perfectly into his role with Bruce Pearl and the Auburn Tigers, and part of the reason why they're at the top of the rankings.
Kelly thinks about it around the logo most of the time. A tie up here on the pass. And so we'll stay right here, 59-54 Auburn. And our NBA Saturday primetime matchup on ABC and ESPN. The app coming your way, LeBron and the Lakers at Madison Square Garden. Our coverage begins with NBA Countdown, 8 o'clock Eastern.
LeBron third all-time in career average at Madison Square Garden, behind, of course, the GOAT, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, and Kobe Bean Bryant.
Jones flipping it up there with a shot clock winding down. It did get to the rim. That one well short, picked up by Johnson. Here's Jones, a step back, and that's going to be an offensive foul.
Now, I love the way the two Pats, Pat Adams and Patrick Evans, looked at each other to make sure they were on the right page with that call. The arm does not, well, it does extend at the bottom right there, as you see Jones extended a little bit at the bottom, but a great job defensively after Ole Miss gives up 3 offensive rebounds on the same possession.
Ole Miss picked up a crucial quad 1 win over Texas this week. That one came down to the end. It was a nail biter, 72-69. They played a lot of close games.
Yeah, and almost every game in the SEC is a quad 1 opportunity. So when you consider, you know, 13 of the 16 SEC teams are in the top 50 of the net ranking. So it's pretty much every time you step on the court in SEC play, you're getting a quad 1 opportunity.
Well, Miles Kelly going to the bench. That's 4 fouls.
That's a big foul, because he's been the guy providing the offense, especially from beyond the three-point arc for the Tigers.
Senior out of Stone Mountain, Georgia. On the drive, it's Murray. Denied initially. Trying to get it up there amongst the trees. And it's going to drop in. Brown Jones got it to go. Somehow the basketball found him.
And it's normally Ole Miss giving up offensive rebounds. That's where they've struggled. But this time, it's the Rebels going after it on the offensive glass. The finish, the hoop, the harm, contact opportunity for an and one to be able to make this a 2-point game.
Well, they got great position there inside Broom, who committed his second foul. He's a 76% foul shooter. And a 3-point play, and it's a 2-point game.
And Brown Jones coming in, only played 2 minutes last time out for the Rebels, but being trusted in a big spot here for Chris Beard.
Will Broom begin to take over? Knocked away from him. Burrell scoops it up. Murray looking for a screen to be set. Now the penetration and the foul by Chad Baker Mazzara. Got him with the body. 8 minutes to play. That'll be number 2 on Baker Mazzara.
Mikael Brown-Jones getting the job done on both ends of the floor. Comes up with the offensive rebound, makes it a 3-point play on the offensive end, and then doing the job defensively against Janai Broome, stripping the basketball away from them, getting them out in transition, and now Murray at the free throw line with an opportunity to tie this game with 8:05 remaining.
And a very good foul shooter, 86%. Be trying his first one today. He had 32 in a row earlier this season. The senior from the Bronx. It's been a lot of players talking to officials today. As we pointed out, Adams, Green, and Evans, this crew has done a really good job. But it's such a physical league. I was asking Chris Beer to be expected this one to maybe be over the top physically. He said, I don't know if there is such a thing basically in the SEC.
Yeah, he said this is the SEC. It's another game as we've seen what Ole Miss has been able to do defensively against Janai Broome in the second half. A great start for him, and got to remember, knocked down those 2 threes right before the halftime buzzer, but scoreless in the second half. Give the Rebels a lot of credit for the way they've locked in defensively.
Now Murray missing an opportunity to tie it. Baker Mazzara wants Cardwell downstairs, and a foul on the deck. 59-58.
Opportunity to tie the game at the free throw stripe. Miss Sherry told us earlier, you gotta make your free throws, and she's having a ball here today.
Find them in the most unusual places. As Cardwell goes to the line, where he scuffles only 29%. And drops that one and caught the front iron, but he got the spin.
And part of the reason why Bruce Pearl often moves Janai Broome to the 5 spot or brings in Chaney Johnson to end games because of the struggles of Dylan Cardwell. But Bruce Pearl will be the first to tell you he thinks that Dylan Cardwell is the best defensive player in the country. He feels as though he can guard anyone. They have zero problem switching, putting him on guards.
This is the second end, but he has 11 rebounds today. 60-58. Barnes for Brakefield. Shot clock down to 8. Padula took a look. Down to 4 now. He'll fire it up. It touched nothing.
Yeah, tough shooting over the extended hand of Janai Broome.
There was a foul.
They're going to get Dylan Cardwell along the baseline, and which is a break. As we see, the basketball doesn't touch rim, but Cardwell with the right arm shoves Brown-Jones out of bounds.
Bruce Pearl right in front of us. That's where we're positioned today, our broadcast position. He's shouting out that was a flop. Putting Ole Miss to the line, but Brown-Jones with a misfire. Auburn has gone cold the last 3 minutes. Jones trying to end that, denied to the baseline. Broome up high, hit 2 big threes at the tail end of the first half. Got airborne. Baker Mazzara hits it.
And we talked about the plethora of guards that Bruce Pearl has at his disposal. And then you see it's been Miles Kelly. Now he's on the bench with 4 fouls. Janai Broome gets in trouble, jumps in the air with they tell you not to do the pass. But Chad Baker Mazzara on the outside able to knock down the 3 once he gets it in his hands to get the 5-point separation between the two teams.
As lively as ever, Coach Pearl. Now 4 of Auburn's 7 SEC wins have come on the road. We're right here. Right
we get to sit right behind Bruce Pearl, so we get all the commentary, everything going on over here.
Some of it aimed at us.
Yes, get to have the chance to have a conversation with Coach Pearl mid-game.
Well, I worked a couple of games with Bruce in between coaching jobs when he was with us at ESPN. He was so much fun. But he was just like this. He was exactly like this.
He is energy personified. It doesn't matter if he's coaching, doesn't matter if he's on TV. He is always going to bring the energy, and his team reflects that.
Janai Broom looking to be player of the year on the back down. Tried to use that window. Cardwell, another rebound. Out for Baker Mazzara. He gets another one. But he's caught fire.
But how about Dylan Cardwell continuing to star in his role, coming up with second chance opportunities, turns into another three-point field goal for the Tigers.
Baker Mazzara with 13, stolen away. Jones with the theft, has Pettiford going high for the slam. An electrifying play.
Oh, in case you didn't know, Zahad has bounced too.
He sure does. And with 6 minutes to go, Auburn with another jolt of energy. They lead at 68-60 on the road here in Oxford. ESPN, our two Sonic blockbusters, Cooper Flagg and number 2 Duke.
And going at his first matchup against the rival Tar Heels in our Sonic blockbuster.
So the two guys who are vying for player of the year, it's pretty much a two-horse race, Cooper Flagg and Janai Broom. You'll see them both on ESPN today, and a quick strike by Matthew Morrell. They needed that one badly.
They absolutely did, but Janai Broom had a player of the year first half here this afternoon, but the second half, you've got to give the Rebels a tremendous amount of credit for holding him in check, but he's had so much help from his teammates.
Working on Brakefield, a lot of contact, flipped it up, no whistle there. Couldn't get it to drop. Brakefield trying to get downstairs, and a block by Broom as it rolls out with 5:18 to go.
But that's another part of the game, the second block of the game for Auburn. Janai Broom, closing in on 400 block shots throughout his career, is the active Division I leader in blocks. But that time, he's able to block it, and the ball goes off of Brakefield. So not only did he get the block, but the Tigers get possession.
Auburn looking for some more wiggle room down the stretch. Pettiford getting around Padula. Nice dish and a slam by Cardwell. And a foul, too.
And the contact. We've seen Tahad Pettiford step it up here in the second half. On one possession, he's dunking the basketball. In the second one, he's dropping it off to Dylan Cardwell for the dunk, as Cardwell's able to go up and finish it off. Two guys who were recruited by my guy, Ira Bowman, on the sidelines for the Auburn Tigers. Went back to his home state of New Jersey to go get the McDonald's All-American and Tahad Pettiford. And, of course, recruited Dylan Cardwell out of McEachern in Atlanta.
Usually not a very good foul shooter. He's made a couple here down the stretch. Under 5 to go. And suddenly 71-62 Auburn. Looking to make a move, Morrell, and a whistle before that shot. And a foul here against the Tigers.
There's my guy, Ira. Go all the way back to 1990, OB. Five-star basketball camp run by, of course, the late, great Howard Garfinkel. And that gentleman right beside him won a number of rings with the Chicago Bulls. So some legends on the bench for the Tigers.
Morrell 72% at the line, drains that one. His 5th year at Ole Miss. He scored 1,700 points.
Five-star basketball camp, of course. Back then, way back in the day, college coaches could come in and be counselors and speakers. Rick Pitino. All the different coaches coming in as Bruce Pearl just puts his hands over his face after watching an empty possession from his team.
Padula around the back and a whistle. We have been watching some playmaking. Padula a little shaken up, a little gimpy after that foul. And the personal will go against Baker Mazzara, number 3.
As Padula goes to the rim, watch the right foot as he steps. Turns a bit. running into Cardwell.
And in need of a moment as he laces up his shoe. Janai Broom a little frustrated it's taking this long. But Padula headed to the foul line. The transfer from Virginia Tech out of Edmond, Oklahoma.
And Obi, I go off topic once again. 5-star basketball camp. The great Hubie Brown was able to come in and be a speaker, a coach with our producer Kim Belton in the audience. Hubie Brown next week at 91 years old will call his last game on ESPN when the Milwaukee Bucks, where he started his career. So shout out to Hubie as we talk about the legends of 5-star basketball camp.
Yeah, a couple of shout outs to Hubie. I can't envision the NBA without him.
I mean, again, he is synonymous with the NBA, so recognizing that he will get the farewell next week, great opportunity to see that.
So 4.5 minutes to go here in Oxford, 71-66 Auburn. And let's see what Ole Miss has down the stretch. Pace-wise, it's kind of exactly what they wanted, but the thing about Auburn, Corey, we've seen them a couple of times this season, watched them all year, they have the ability to adapt to you very, very well.
And that's one of the things that Bruce Pearl talks about. He knows how to go in, especially on the road, and beat opposing teams on their floor. It's not going to be the same way each and every time, so they have to be able to adapt. But you think about this Auburn team. They beat Iowa State, who may be in the mix with a top team in the country as well, on a tip-in at the buzzer by Janai Broom. They, of course, lost at Duke, but their schedule has allowed them to be able to build so much experience with all the different environments they've been in throughout this year.
One of the many seniors for Ole Miss getting some clutch moments here down the stretch. Matthew Morrell came in averaging 11 points a game, kind of taking it on himself here down the second half stretch.
And Matthew Morrell, who came into the game 10th in program history, only needed 1 point to pass Jarvis Summers, moving into 9th place. Of course, he's gotten that. So now 9th place in career scoring for the Ole Miss Rebels.
Auburn hitting their threes today. It's been a major factor why they've maintained the lead throughout most of the game. Today they have hit 52% from downtown, 13 out of 25.
And when you consider what they have on the interior with Janai Broom, the best post presence in the country, to be able to add that type of shooting around him makes it difficult to double team. But give Ole Miss a tremendous amount of credit for the way they've defended Broom in the second half, but it's hard to slow him down, and the guards as well.
Todd Pettiford walking it into the offensive zone. Baker Mazzara. Padula on him. Now they switch. Seen a ton of that today. Looks like he wants to take the shot, going in strong, and a whistle too. Man, was he determined.
He absolutely was, OB. And I mentioned the Iowa State game where Janai Broom was able to make the game winner, but the player of the game was Chad Baker Mazzara. He was injured in the first half of that game, but came in the second half and made similar plays to this to be able to help his team get back into it and eventually win in a top 5 matchup in the Maui Invitational earlier this year.
Another basket. And a foul, too. And on that play, the 6'6" senior for Ole Miss, Dre Davis, picked up number 5.
Chad Baker Mazzara provides the offensive punch on the perimeter for the Auburn Tigers. The first possession of the game, knocked down the 3 in the corner. The step back, being able to create plays individually, as well as finding another assist from Janai Broom, getting himself in great position. But we've seen him do it all. Catch and shoot. We've seen him go off the bounce to the rim, get fouled on the last possession, opportunity for a 3-point play, as well as get into his bag and knock down jumpers off the bounce.
He is one of the 4 guys for Auburn who has at least 13 points. He has 15.
And another one of the guys that has 50 assists on the year. So you talk about the versatility of this team. Even though they have a superstar, they've got a lot of complementary role players who step up when they need them most.
74-66 the Tigers. Can Padula heat up again? He's sitting with 20. Keeps on driving it with that right hand. He'll bank it in.
And that's just strength right there. Padula able to score over Denver Jones, who has about a 4-inch height advantage, but going to the block and getting the easy bucket.
22 for Sean Padula. With 24. Kicked out into the corner. Here's Kelly. Broom goes up high over Padula. He's done it several times today. Grabbed the rebound. Baker Mazzara is the free man in that paint, and Janai Broom, among the many great things he does, he finds his teammates.
Yeah, Janai Broom and coming up with the offensive rebound, and he knows that his numbers aren't where they normally are, but doesn't care about that. Is only concerned about getting a win. Murray
trying to get out of trouble, knocked away by Broom, and it should stay on this end. Officials looking at each other, and it will. We've got a timeout. Time running short on Ole Miss. Auburn up 76-68. Auburn by 8 here in the teeth of the SEC at Oxford, Mississippi. By the way, number 11 Kansas and Baylor starting that game on ESPN News. It'll be on ESPN as soon as this one is done in 3 minutes and 19 seconds.
And another response from the Auburn Tigers. And it seems as though every time Ole Miss makes that run, Auburn has some type of response. Your usual suspect would be Janai Broom. However, there's been a number of different players throughout this game. Miles Kelly, Chad Baker Mazzara, Tahad Pettifor. They have so many different options on the offensive end of the floor. And I believe that's what separates Auburn from everyone else. As great as Duke is defensively, when you look at what Auburn's able to do offensively, they can go a second half without Janai Broom scoring and yet still have an 8-point lead on a top 25 team. That shows you how complete of a team Bruce Pearl has.
Can't be more impressed with the play of Auburn's guards. Once again, that's a huge separator for these guys.
It really is, to have multiple guys that can go make a play when you need it most.
Padula kicks it out. Morrell, the launch, he got hit on the play while attempting a long one with 3:10 to go. That was with 8 on the shot clock. That'll be foul number 3 on Broom.
But how about the maturity of Janai Broom? When he commits that foul, he doesn't think that he's fouled, but he turns and sees Courtney Green, who he had a little bit of a run-in with earlier, says nothing. And again, that's coaching, because he was pulled out of the game. Bruce Pearl, Stephen Pearl, Ira Bowman, you know, the staff basically told him to leave the officials alone, allow us to talk to them. Janai Broom turned around and immediately said nothing to Courtney Green.
Morrell rolling in number 1.
There's Lane. Coach Kiffin actually texted Bruce Pearl before the game and was talking about the ticket prices of what it would be to be able to come in and see the Auburn Tigers here. I don't think Coach Kiffin actually had to pay for a ticket, though.
Somehow, I think he was taken care of by somebody in a position of authority.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are a lot of Auburn fans here, and you talk about tickets and availability. They can't see Auburn at home. So they're going to drive 5 hours to come to Oxford, Mississippi. There are a couple thousand of them here today. They did.
But that's the type of following that Bruce Pearl has created at Auburn, Alabama, when you consider people showing up in their striped overalls to be able to come check out the Tigers here on the road.
76-70, number 1 team in the country, looking to push their winning streak to 13 consecutive games. And Auburn trying to avoid loss number 5. Ole Miss is trying to avoid loss number 5. And it would be 7 consecutive wins for Auburn over Ole Miss in the series if they pull this one out today.
And you're considering a class of guys who have never beaten Auburn throughout their entire time of being in an Ole Miss uniform. And Bruce Pearl told us earlier, we're going to give their best effort because we recruited Matt Morrell. We recruited Jamin Brakefield at Auburn. So these are guys that absolutely want to beat the Tigers, especially as much time as they've spent here at Ole Miss.
Nearly 10,000 in the pavilion today here in Oxford.
A beautiful building, by the way. Our first time, well, my first time in here.
Mine too.
And I can tell you, this place is awesome.
And it gets loud, man.
Yes, it does.
It gets loud. And they were ready to roar when this one tipped off. In fact, they were ready to roar last night when they were setting up the tents outside by the thousands. Auburn by 6 and the ball. Baker Mazzara out of the trap. They'll swing it here for Jones, and the shot. Got it. A three-pointer on the money.
But how about just sharing the basketball? We talk about that quartet of guards, and this is what Bruce Pearl often does. Janai Broome at the 5, get all the guards on the floor to finish the game.
Jones with 16. Once again, a guard stepping up to hit a triple. They've been hitting their threes all day.
They
From
really
Jump
have.
Street. They really have. 2:25 to go. Broome trying to make a move, and he gets tied up and fouled. The All-American with 2:21 on the clock.
Who hasn't scored in the second half, but he has been a facilitator. Janai Broome running the offense, and as he catches the basketball off the screen and roll action, immediately to Tahad Pettiford. Pettiford hasn't had a great game, but doesn't get selfish. He makes the extra pass to the corner, allowing Jones to get a great shot in comparison to a good shot.
Broome will have another one. Did they get enough credit for the passing team they are?
No, they do not. But when you consider that they average 17 assists per game, they should, but it's because they do it by committee. It's not one guy that does it. You don't have a dominant point guard who does all of the assisting. You've got so many different guys. We mentioned earlier, 4 guys with over 50 assists. But more importantly, no one in their rotation has a negative assist to turnover ratio.
Broome with a couple of big misses. Padula, strong move, and will drop it in. And a whistle. Boy, he has been in full attack mode most of the afternoon here. They've needed every basket.
And OB, that can be a turning point. Janai Broome, who hasn't scored in the second half, misses 2 free throws. And then Sean Padula goes full court and is able to use a crafty look off to get to the rim, finish through the contact, an opportunity for a three-point play.
Baker Mazzara, foul number 4. Look at the second half for him. Will it be enough in the end to upend the #1 team in America? Boy, you go back to those couple of foul shots a moment ago that were missed by Janai Broome. As the door opened up here for Ole Miss.
Broome normally very reliable at the free throw line, especially at crunch time. That's been a separator for this Tigers team too. They've won a lot of close games throughout this season.
Two minutes to go in Oxford. Pettiford lost the handle. Padula scoops it up. He hits the deck, got it off to Morrell. He lays it up, but no, and a whistle.
One thing for certain, OB, this building will not get quiet. In the last possession, Janai Broome misses 2 free throws. Sean Padula goes down and gets a 3-point play. And now another steal from Ole Miss gets them out in transition, which allows Morrell to get to the free throw line. If he's able to make both of these, now we're talking about a 4-point game. Of course, a minute 51 is an eternity.
Morrell 72% as a foul shooter and drops in number 1. Ole Miss playing from behind most of the day. A minute 51 to go. And Matthew Morrell, the senior from Memphis, with his second. He makes the pair.
Ole Miss going to the full court pressure. It's caused some problems for the Tigers over the last few possessions.
Broome up top, bouncing for Baker Mazzara. Back to the big. Looking to shoot it and banked up and in. He made it and drew the foul too.
OB. Janai Broome was about to flex. And then he decided to pull the flex back. Understanding time and score, where they are right now, he didn't feel that it was the right time. But watch after the finish. Janai Broome going over 2 smaller guys, puts up the arm, 2 flex, and then says, nah, I'm not going to flex right now.
And he completes the 3-point play, gives him 16 points. Not a huge scoring day, but a big bucket and the 3-point play. Off the double fake, the shot in the air by Murray, and he'll take the hit. 1:26 to go. 82-75 Auburn. And every single time today when it looked like Ole Miss was going to make a really serious run and make this like a 1 or 2 possession game, here comes Auburn again showing that composure.
And it's normally a 3, whether it's Miles Kelly, whether it's Chad Baker-Mazara, or even on the last possession, Janai Broome with the three-point play the old-fashioned way, going off the glass to finish and then getting the free throw to go. So most of their responses have been by the 3.
Murray at 86%, senior out of the Bronx. He was a member of the 2022 St. Peter's team that made a stunning run to the Elite Eight. And sinks number 1. So Murray with another one coming. And a string of 32 consecutive foul shots come to an end earlier this season. 82-77. Pressure again from Ole Miss. In for Pettiford, and Padula will foul him. There's not much time off the clock, minute 25 to go.
But from his reaction, I'm not sure that Sean Padula actually was trying to foul on that possession, as he and Chris Beard have a conversation full court. But if you're able to get Pettiford to miss one of these free throws, then it's a pretty good foul, because as you mentioned, no time going off the clock.
Padula, by the way, 27 points to tie a season high. He's had a great day. He has 4 fouls though now. And it'll be Pettiford to the line, the freshman from Jersey City, McDonald's All-American. He's averaged 16 a game in Auburn's wins against top 25 opponents, so he really shows up.
You mentioned,
again, just a freshman.
You mentioned Padula with the tying the season high. It was just over a year ago where he went for 33 against Miami for a career high. So Sean Padula, no stranger to scoring. As a matter of fact, he had back-to-back 30-point games during that week and was the ACC Player of the Week. So he's no stranger to stepping up in big moments.
They need more of him with 1:22 to go. He looked to fire it up there. He'll drive it, looking for 2 in short, follows his own miss for 2. 84-79 and a timeout, Ole Miss.
A minute 16, a tremendous amount of time, especially when you consider only a 5-point lead, as we get a look at the top of the SEC, which has been extremely difficult to be a part of this year.
Alabama 7-1 in conference play. Ole Miss is the team that beat them on the road.
Ole Miss going into Alabama, coming away with the win, which Bruce Pearl said is the absolute best win in the SEC this season when you consider the strength of the teams and how well Alabama plays on their home floor.
So as you say, a minute 16, plenty of time, but 84-79, Auburn looking to hang on to perfection in the SEC. You knew this was going to be a dogfight of a game here, given the environment and the fact that Ole Miss is an NCAA tournament team. I don't think there's any question.
They absolutely are. And to say that Ole Miss, of course, having lost 3 in a row before getting that win over Texas in midweek game, this team changes the way you have to play. The way Chris Beard comes at you defensively and their defensive prowess forces you to have to adjust to the style of play, the way they're going to play. And they're always looking to turn you over, as we get an opportunity to see our bracketology with, of course, Joe Lunardi and what the SEC looks like right now in the NCAA tournament.
Could it be any more loaded? Just incredible. Auburn, the #1 team in the country. Tennessee and Florida played earlier today. Tennessee, a walk-away victory.
And that was a little retribution from what Florida did to them at the O-Dome earlier this year, where they beat Tennessee by 30. So those two great teams with some lopsided victories against each other in SEC play.
84-79 Auburn. And Ole Miss will have the basketball coming out of the timeout. Auburn beat a pretty good LSU team, certainly a very athletic team, on Wednesday night in Baton Rouge, 87-74. Bruce Pearl continues to avoid the so-called trap games. And he said, I got a lot of kids with chips on their shoulders.
Yes.
And that's a big reason why.
It is a huge reason why, and part of the reason why this team wants to be so successful.
Tapped out a play by Ole Miss. Minute 15 to go.
And Janai Broome favoring something as he limps down the floor.
Yeah, wonder if he retwisted that ankle. It cost him a couple games. Earlier today was the shoulder, but he responded after that. Return to the game. Pettiford to run a little clock as we approach 1 minute to go in Oxford.
Ole Miss, you can afford to play this out, but you have to get a stop.
10 on the shot clock. Kelly on the move. Jones to shoot it. And a battle for the rebound and a foul. With 49.7 to go, will go against the Rebels.
They're going to get Barnes over the back of Janai Broome, who would have had an easy offensive rebound with Murray trying to check him out on the glass. And when you switch defensively, it puts your guards in a tough spot where you've got to try to take a guy like Janai Broome off of the board. But that time, Barnes coming over and fouling Broome before he can corral the basketball.
6'10" grad, 63% at the line. That makes number one.
Bruce Pearl going offense, defense, keeps Tahad Pettiford on the floor on offensive possessions, but when they go defensively, he gets Dylan Cardwell back on the court. And at this point now, Auburn can switch 1 through 5 and just force people to try to make twos in comparison to getting easy looks from 3.
The special relationship Janai Broome has with Bruce Pearl. They talk more than any player and coach in the game today through the course of the game. It's really interesting. Murray leaning in, looking to draw the contact, but Cardwell picks it up. Here's Broome in the open floor. 88-79.
And Bruce Pearl continues to push all the right buttons. You switch out your center, 6'11", Dylan Cardwell, and he wins the matchup against the point guard.
Jumper on the way from way downtown by Morrell. He'll sink that. 27.8 on the clock. And another foul. It is 88-82 Auburn.
And Auburn doesn't like the fact that this was not called an intentional foul because, of course, Ole Miss absolutely wants to go after Dylan Cardwell, but they foul him without any time going off the clock, just grabbing him before the basketball is inbounded.
The reason they're going after him, he came into the game 10 for 34 at the line. He keeps making them.
He's had a great day from the free throw line.
And another one on the way.
This must be the prayer. Prayer in between free throws.
It's working.
Prayer always works.
And hits the pair.
Worked again.
Man. 90-82. Padula. Morrell forces a long one there. It won't drop. Rebound knocked around, controlled by Ole Miss. Right back in Brakefield. No. Rebound popped out again to Kelly. And Kelly will.
And Chris Beard has just gotten teched up.
Yeah, he did on the foul and then the technical. With 8 seconds to go. So Auburn, if they haven't already, consulted away at the line. In a very tough environment coming in today to Oxford, Mississippi, in front of almost 10,000. And at the end, Chris Beard showing frustration.
Well, he wanted to foul on the last possession.
All right, so no foul on the floor, but a technical foul on Beard will be the call.
And right now, the players should not be on the line right now. It's a technical foul, so you've got to get the guys off of the free throw line. Pat Adams just came over and told us they're not going with the foul on the floor. They're only going with the technical foul. So you've got to get the guys from Ole Miss off of the free throw line. And now it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to make Miles Kelly shoot another free throw after he just made one.
Yeah, because the confusion was, did Padula commit a foul on the other side of the floor? And they said no, it was all about the technical first.
Well, the technical happened, exactly. Technical happened first, so therefore there was no foul. But here's the concern. Miles Kelly made the first free throw already, but the guys were on the line, so they waved that one off.
Kelly 86%. So on the redo, took the point away, and now they've added it again. And for the Auburn Tigers, 13 consecutive wins. After those 8 seconds go off the clock, they will improve to 20-1, 8-0 in the SEC.
And more importantly, 5-0 on the road in the SEC. Going into South Carolina winning. Beating Georgia when Georgia was ranked number 23 in the country at Georgia, and now coming in as we got something going on, and this should be Auburn's basketball.
Supposed to be.
This should be Auburn's basketball after the technical foul. You make the 2 free throws, get the basketball back, as Ole Miss was taking the basketball out of bounds.
So a lot of confusion here down the stretch, but it has not interrupted the early celebration for the Tigers. Leading by 10 with 8 seconds, they will put it in play.
Obi, let me tell you, the sign of a great team are teams that can come into hostile environments as such and walk away with the win. And we have seen now the Auburn Tigers, in my opinion, the best team in the country, do it 5 separate times in SEC play.
Number 1 Auburn, impressive. 92-82 at Ole Miss, knocking off another top 25 opponent. And they win this one down the stretch to make it 13 consecutive victories, second longest streak in Division I. Kansas Baylor is on the way next. From my partner Corey Alexander.